Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to today's event. This is our Recipes for Success workshop, and the topic that we're covering today are test-taking strategies. We've partnered with Student Life to offer these workshops. The sessions are recorded, and we do house them on our YouTube area where we can then, you can listen to the replay if you need to. And also, if you indicated at the time of registration that you would like for your professor to know that you were in attendance, if they were offering any sort of extra credit or whatever have you, then they will be notified at the end of today's session. Just to ensure that we have clear communication, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. And then as we go through the workshop, if we end up having some questions, you're welcome to type them into the chat, but you can also unmute yourself at the time that we ask if anybody has any questions, and you can talk at that point in time. My name is Amanda Guerrero. I'm the Director for Instructional Support here at Houston Community College. You see my eyes probably moving across the screen because I keep admitting people into the room with us. But it's just a really fancy way of saying that I oversee the tutoring program, and this is our synchronous tutoring program. So it's our virtual and our in-person tutoring with the Academic Success Centers here at Houston Community College. With us today, we have Mr. Philip Epiong. He is actually a doctor now, and he is our full-time math tutor, amazing at the work that he does, and he will be covering today's topic. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and take my camera offline and man the chat and admitting people. Philip, go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Ms. Amanda. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to Test-Taking Strategy. Get your note down, get your pen. I'm sure you have a lot to learn today.
Philip, you might want to talk a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. It's okay. A little bit further out.
Okay, thank you. My name is Philip Epiong, math faculty tutor. Great to have you to attend this particular seminar at this time. Today, we are talking about student success test-taking strategy, the skills that will require for you to take your next test or your midterm or exam 2 that's around the corner. Our goal here is to discuss the skills and the tests and to prepare you for the upcoming tests. I believe at the end of this training, you'll be able to do well, hopefully reduce your anxiety level and ease your preparation for the test. Now let's begin with stress. Stress is a state of mind that you can control by reminding yourself you can pass the exam whenever it comes around. A lot of students get stressed up during test time, and the anxiety levels goes up. But you can always remind yourself you have the capacity to reduce it. Test taking can bring some major level anxiety, either when you are preparing at home or you're planning to take the test online, or you are working in group. There can be some level of anxiety when it comes to test taking. This seminar is to help us reduce that anxiety and also understand some strategies that will help us to do well in our next test. If you have a question, please write it down as we progress, and you can also post your question in the chat forum. Now, we have to remember that adequate exam preparation and useful tips make a difference when it comes to test anxiety that ultimately lead to success in an exam. Before we begin on that, let's talk about some things that can easily happen during our test and raise anxiety level. Number one thing, if we fail to establish pre-testing routine. What do I mean? Is your test online? Is your test face-to-face? What time is your class? What time do you arrive? That can cause some anxiety. Try to avoid sugary food that might cause your sugar to peak, then drop. If you learn relaxation techniques such as deep breathing, maybe you are anxious, breathing without breathing through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. It can also help to reduce some level of anxiety during tests. It's also a good idea to avoid drinks that are caffeinated, like energy drinks, coffee. This can peak anxiety and make it worse during the test. Fuel your brain with healthy foods and hydrate very well during the test. Exercise if possible, preferably aerobic in the morning of the test. These are some key things that can help to reduce anxiety level. If this fails, all this fails, talk with your teachers about your anxiety. They may be able to offer some useful tips that can calm you down in the process of the test. Now, let's talk about what we need to do before we take our test. A lot of students have issues with it, excuse me. What do you do? What are the tips before taking the test? How do you plan for the test? What are you supposed to do before the test? The first one is that make sure you get enough sleep on the day of the test. It's not a good idea to stay too late, except maybe you work at night. But if that can be avoided, then make sure that you avoid staying late. It will make your mind very sharp and be able to tackle your exam very well. Studying in advance, especially in a group among peers, or help with tutoring, either virtually or in person, or studying the exam reviews more, will help to have a good understanding of the material you will be tested on. At this today, I have about 3 students that came to me for review to review their exam before the test. That really helped to understand the materials before the test. In fact, research actually shows that professors typically bring about 90% of similar questions in the test review, particularly in math classes. I'm sure you have in other courses as well. So don't
Philip,
wait.
Philip, can you move a little bit closer to the mic? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Uh, don't wait till the last minute to study the reviews and instruction. Can you hear me now well? Thank you for that. We are still talking about tip before a test. Tip what you need to do before the test. Prepare everything that you need in advance. We have seen students coming to the test hall, no pen, no pencils, no calculator. That can cause anxiety before the test. So make sure you have those things ready. If your class allow calculator, writing materials, get those things ready before the test. Not when you have gotten to the test hall. If the test is in the classroom, arrive early for the exam. Ensure you have a few minutes before the exam starts so that you do not miss any important instruction the teacher may pass on. There could be some mistakes, there could be some corrections. Those takes place during before the test. We're still talking about what you can do that will help you before the test. Do a knowledge mental cheat sheet before you start answering questions. Use the back of your test sheet and write down anything you are afraid you are going to forget. Things like formulas, techniques, mnemonics, things that will remind you of what you have studied. It will help you when the test starts. Now, what happened during the test now? Remember, we have talked about what you can do before the test. Now, what are the strategies you need to do during the test? The first thing is, if you are still at this point, still very anxious, so what you need to do is to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths before starting. It will help to reduce anxiety. So take a minute to preview. Review your test before you start answering. Don't be in a hurry. Look at how many questions that are available in the test and what is covered in the test. Always remember to read the instruction thoroughly and well in advance so that you don't make mistakes at the end of the test. Remember to time yourself and plan to spend more time on questions that have worth more points. If you have questions for an essay that is worth, for example, 50%, it is better to spend more time on that than questions that are worth 10%. But look at your time very well as you are doing the test. If your professors allows cheat sheet, for example, in math, I've seen students come to me in the center and ask me if they can use cheat sheet. I refer them back to the professor, maybe like statistics, maybe like math 1324 business math, maybe things that require a lot of formulas. Please confirm from your professor. The professor say yes, then make it available to use. But please make sure you get it confirmed from your professor before you use this. Always read each question carefully to make sure you understand it. Look closely what a question asks, which option does meet the criteria, or ask which option does not meet the criteria. These are 2 different questions. So if you don't read it very well, it may throw you out to writing a different thing contrary to the question. This is very key, which I've discussed with students. Always begin with a question you are familiar with, you are comfortable with. Skip the question that looks a bit difficult, but take note of that question. Come back to it at the end of the test. When you are done, review the entire test. Then answer the skip question. If you still don't know it, then you can apply educated guess on it. Create an outline of essay question. And I always said, avoid starting with complex mathematical question. If you are doing a math test, begin with the one you can solve first. That will bring some sense of confidence in you, and that will help you to be able to overcome other difficult questions. Do not rush to finish. Use all the test time if you have time, and rework and review your test at the end. Review the whole test, but be careful. Don't erase correct answers, make them incorrect. Remember, your first instinct is always typically the best. So don't panic. No panic, no rush to finish. Use all the time that's available for you for your test. Strategies during the test, we are just talking about that. Ask your instructor to explain any item that seems not clear. You are not asking for the answer. You can phrase your question in a way that shows the instructor that you have the information, but not sure what the question is asking for. Our professors are good people. They'll be able to explain the question for you during the test without giving you the answers. If the question still seems very difficult, use the margin to figure out if the question does not seem clear or if the answer seems ambiguous. Always circle keywords in difficult questions. It will help you to focus on the central point. Try to express difficult question in your own word by rephrasing it that make it a bit clear to you. But be sure you don't change the meaning of the question. So you can rephrase the question to your own understanding, but please do not change the meaning of the question. Now, what happened now? We have talked about the tips before the test. We have talked about what you are supposed to do during the test. Now, what happened after the test? What are you supposed to do? Now you are done with your test. You have submitted your test. You are okay. So ask your professor if you may review your test to see how you did, how you did perform, your performance, so that you will notice what you got wrong or what you got right. If the test is online, seek permission of your professor. If the test is face-to-face, when the professor returns the test slip, you can ask for if you can may review it. If his professor say yes, and I'll give you the opportunity, review all questions that you missed. See how you can make changes to your study routine to do better. We are in the midterm now. We are going to have exam 2, some midterm, some classes have 4 exams, which means they have 2 more, probably 2 more, or some have 1 more. Whichever one you have, you still have opportunity to do well in the next one. If you didn't do well, talk to your instructor on how you can do better for the next one. I believe that if you adopt these strategies we mentioned today for your test, your incoming test, your midterm, it will definitely help you to perform successfully. And you'll be on your way to obtaining an excellent grade. Now, before you go, there are some resources, in case you are not aware of it, that we have, that the school have for you. We have Academic Success Center and Virtual Academic Success Center. This is the center. What we do is to tutor all subjects. You have access to help in any of the subject you are taking at the moment. You can call this number 713-718-8184, get an appointment, and you can also come in without an appointment. We have virtual where you can stay in your room, in your home, to have a section with us. You can also come to face-to-face in the campus. In all of our 14 campuses that we have or more, you can have a tutor to help you. To go to find a tutor, we have all tutors in all subjects, and we are open Monday through Saturday. Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. in the evening. On Friday, we are open 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Saturday, we are open 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The only day we don't open is Sunday. And like I said earlier on, you can do it virtually from your home, and you can also come to the campus, whichever works for you. Let me say the number again, 713-718-8184. Call the number and ask for any time that you need help on. The reason why we ask you to call the number is to get an appointment. We don't want you to get to the center and you are waiting for the tutor to finish. You get an appointment, you come in straight to your time, and the tutor attend to you immediately. I believe this is a time to get help as much as you can. It is free and it's for you guys. Now begin to book for the tutoring appointment now. Go ahead and book for the tutoring appointment now. Because appointment students that have gone through tutoring, research and statistics shows that they have done far better than other students that didn't take advantage of this. So if you need help, you're still having some issues, your review, you need some clarification, please book for that appointment now and get help. So do we have any questions, please?
So thank you so much, Philip, for presenting on this topic today. It was a really great subject. I hope everybody got some takeaways. There was a question in the chat. Mr. Bernard had mentioned, what if a student takes a picture of the questions from all assignments before the test on their phone and they cheat from their phone? Well, I don't believe that any professor would tolerate academic dishonesty, so I wouldn't recommend doing such a thing. It's best to go ahead and study the materials and test and follow all of the rules that the professor sets out for you. And then also, Amalia, you wanted to know if we could repeat the times for tutoring. Yes, so tutoring, one-on-one tutoring, real time, either through Microsoft Teams or in person at one of our academic success centers. We're open Monday through Thursday from 8 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. So we take our last appointment at 7. It's not necessary to always have an appointment, but we recommend it because if you need a specific subject at a specific time and there's already an appointment scheduled, then you might stand the chance of showing up and not being able to get help that day if that tutor is not available for you. So we're also open on Friday from 8 in the morning until 4 o'clock p.m., Saturday 9 to 3. We are closed on Sundays. And just know each day when we close, we take our last appointment about an hour before we close. All of this information is also on our website, which can be found at www.hccs.edu/tutoring. I'll put that into the chat. And just to let you guys know, we also have another workshop coming up tomorrow. It's called Remembering What You Read. It's at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, October 8th. So if you would like to attend that session as well, we highly recommend that one. Your attendance, yes, your attendance for Natalie, your attendance for this session is automatically recorded. Hopefully when you registered, you asked that your attendance be shared with your professor, and that is done on the back end. Louvian, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Does tutoring allow peer review for English classes? That's an excellent question. We don't have supplemental, I don't oversee the supplemental instruction program. They might have supplemental instructors for English classes, but all of our English and writing tutors are faculty credentialed, so they're not peer tutors. And that means that they also can be teaching, right? But if we've occasionally, not very often, but once in a while, we have a qualified candidate and we have a need for them. If the English department approves them to be able to tutor with us, we would proceed with that. Right now, we're at full capacity for our peer tutors for this year. Amalia, does attendance automatically share with our professor if we chose that option, or do we have to? No, if you chose that option, your professor will be notified. And Rosetta, you don't have to do anything. Your attendance in the session is logged, so don't worry about that. And I'm still monitoring. You guys are welcome to take yourself off of mute if you want to ask any questions. I just had you muted so that you could hear Philip more clearly throughout the session. You're very welcome. We're very happy that you guys attended today's session. And we hope that you come back and see us tomorrow with remembering what you read. That's a really important one. I'm in my doctoral program right now, and I'll tell you, there are times when I still read a paragraph probably 3 or 4 times because I'm like, wait a second, what did I just read? Let's go back and do this again. So that's a really good workshop. You're very welcome. Thank you guys for your attendance. Thank you for appreciating the work that we're doing. If we don't have any other questions, you're welcome to hop off. Rosetta, any more tips to recommend? I would say time management, budgeting your time out throughout the semester and not waiting until the last minute to study for an exam. I would recommend doing that. The typical equations, like if you're taking a 3 credit hour class, you're probably going to spend about 6 hours studying outside of the classroom. So budgeting your time, making sure that you are going back over any assignments where you might have made mistakes, and clarify with your professor what you could be doing better. So making sure that communication line is open with your professor. Use their office hours. A lot of people don't understand that professors' office hours are there for the students. It's not necessarily them to be in an office grading papers. That time is for you guys to be able to coordinate and ask questions to your professor that you need. So that's another tip that I would recommend. We have a wonderful workshop called Metacognition, and that's basically understanding your specific learning strategies, and we recommend some other things that you can be doing. I would recommend attending that workshop as well. Valdez, is my professor going to see that you attended? As long as you selected at the very beginning that you wanted your professor to have been notified, yes, your professor will know. Thank you. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day as well. We had an exam review, which I did, but the test, it was not very helpful, any helpful hints. If you did an exam review and you didn't do well on the exam itself, I would recommend going over the exam and the exam review with your professor, talk about it, and find out what it is that you specifically might be doing that's not in alignment with what the expectations are for the course or what the professor's expectations are. So that might be a helpful tip for you. I was wondering about attendance in high school. They use an app called PowerSchool to record it. Is there an app or something similar to track attendance? No. See if it's not like that. We have a registration log, and then once everybody attends, we have a record of attendance. So don't worry about that. It's automatic in the back end from Microsoft Teams. For Aniqua, is attendance reported to digital pathway and or student engagement? Attendance is only reported to your professor. So if you need proof that you were in here, another thing that you guys might want to do is take a screenshot of the screen, like as it stands right now, where your face or you can take yourself off or put your video on, take a screenshot of it, and you've got your name and your video and us and the time recorded for the session, and there you go. There's some additional proof that you can show your digital pathway and or student engagement advisors that you were in attendance. Valdez, you're very welcome. How do you deal with brain fog and blanking out during tests? That's a hard one. So I would say implementing the test taking strategies that Philip had recommended, making sure that you're getting adequate sleep, you're getting adequate nutrition, that you're not overloading yourself in the morning with energy drinks or coffee or tea. And if you're having, other issues, you may want to talk to a counselor about what resources are available to you to help combat things like brain fog. That's not always something that, if you're taking care of your overall well-being and your health and wellness, that should help. But if there's something else underlying that's going on, you may want to talk to your doctor about that too. Sometimes from studying that you've done from the assignments until the test, it gets hard sometimes when the questions are different. Lloyd, I would agree with you. It can be frustrating if what you're studying is not in alignment with what is on the test. So make sure that you're maximizing your reviews. Make sure you're reading the chapters that your tests are going to be covering. I like to read the headers and everything in bold, everything in the margins on the chapters. I like to read the summary before I even start reading the text. That way my mind is already starting to think about, okay, I might have these questions, or this chapter is going to be talking or discussing this or whatever have you. Again, preparing, if you wait until the last minute before a test to prepare for a test, you're probably not going to do well. That may have worked sometimes in high school, but it doesn't work well in college. You have to budget your time. You have to put in the effort on the front end. And then see a tutor. If you need more help, come and see the tutors. That's what they're there for. These are really great questions. There's a lot of dialogue. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about or have questions on? If not, feel free to hop off. You're welcome, Renisha. I checked my co-curricular transcript and can't see my attendance. How can I fix that? Natalie, I show you an attendance, so you don't need to do anything on the back end. You're welcome, you're welcome. Natalie, if you want to take a screenshot, you can, and that shows your name. Especially if you want to just like open up the chat, right? If you open up the chat, you'll see where you actually pop that question into the chat. If you want to take a screenshot and show your professor, that's fine.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, I hope everybody has a great day as well, and thank you again for attending.
Bye all.